Stephen Browning.
Kanakwe, Mr Chair. This year, the 2015-16 appropriation for Primary Growth Partnership was $69.8 million, almost $70 million. And I want to discuss a recipient of PGP money, PGG Rights and Seeds, tonight, and touch on the National Policy Statement Plantation Forestry that MPI have been roadshowing recently, and the very unfortunate direction this government appears to be heading with agricultural research, biotechnology and loss of community choice. As I point out the toxic direction of current ag research in New Zealand, we must be mindful that there is a fantastic opportunity in organic agriculture that can be very profitable for New Zealand Inc. while mitigating much of our greenhouse gas emissions, reducing nutrient leaching. To be hundreds of percent better than conventional in product value in dairy alone. PGG Wrightsons have said they want to compete with GE giant Monsanto and have been on that path since Dr. Alan Freeth, the next Chief Executive of the Environmental Protection Authority, the EPA, set them on that path when he was Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Wrightsons. He also got Wrightsons to buy into Genesis, who are experimenting with GE grasses and working with Arborgen on GE trees. An unusual appointment for the arbitrator of genetic engineering in our environment. PGG Wrightsons developed herbicide-tolerant Swedes with DuPont and a couple of failed GE scientists. Scientists who had happily broken the important conditions of previous GE field trials that the EPA had set and assured us that those conditions would deal with any risks. But those scientists happily broke those. PGG Wrightson and the scientists thought they were real clever and used chemical mutagenesis instead of GE. They did both actually, but they popped out in the market the other ones so that they could avoid regulatory oversight, avoid safety tests and apparently irksome conditions of use. The unexpected happened, as can occur with GE and other DNA disruptive technologies such as that chemical mutagenesis, and hundreds of cows and sheep died and many more were sick because in part it appears there was an unexpected up to 16 times increase in the natural toxin, a dangerous and unexpected result from a non-regulated technology that is based on the use of 3 herbicides and DNA disruption. Nothing sustainable. That's Wrightson's direction, and this government is funding Chinese-owned Wrightsons for more of the same, but almost zilch for the organics. I want to touch on the National Environment Standard Plantation Forestry that I note somehow the government through the NES Plantation Forestry wants to bring in GE trees if the EPA, headed by Wrightson's promoter of GE trees and grasses, they want to allow GE trees to be decided only by that arbitrator, the EPA, and it's made loads of mistakes in the past, and I can go through every one of them if necessary. Every field trial that IRMA, now the EPA, has done in recent years, the major condition of consent or approval has been breached. And yet, this government says, through that National Environment Standard, that local councils, local communities will not be able to decide for their own region should the EPA grant genetically engineered trees. It looks like a cook-up. Our communities want to be able to sell top-notch product overseas as GM-free and from areas such as Hawke's Bay. Pure Hawke's Bay reckons $100 billion. $100 billion. Sorry, $1 billion.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. I'll get him a figures. One of the producers is working on $100 million on their own, but $1 billion of product from the Hawke's Bay going out is from GM-free Hawke's Bay. how can that carry on if this government, Mr Chair?
Call Stewart
Oh,
and
no.
Asher.